I'm a very powerful person in the school.
That was when we were talking about the trap house.
Oh, she didn't want to hear anything bad. She's like, oh, that's your trap house.
Okay, so today we're gonna solve radical equation. So we're gonna start with something here, and so we're gonna get here. So the other day we went over this question. I don't know if we went over this question. We went over square root of negative 10x minus 1 is plus 3x is equal to 0. We went over this one. Do we remember this one?
Yesterday?
2 days, yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so what do we do first here?
Minus
Subtract
yes.
Ah, yes, no, we did.
Okay, so what we do is minus 3x on that side, right? So it'll be square root of minus 10x minus 1 is equal to negative 3x. And then we square both sides, right? So that's going to give you negative 10x minus 1 is equal to 9x squared. Because negative 3 times negative 3 is positive. If I move the equation to the right side, I write my leading coefficient to be positive, so that's going to give you 9x squared plus 10x and plus 1 is equal to 0. And I go ahead and factor this. I think the factor was 9x plus 1 and then x plus 1 equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 1 over 9 and x equal to negative 1. So we say we solve this one. So now today, a little bit different here. I'm going to change this question just a tiny bit. So instead of saying equal to x, I'm going to say minus x is equal to negative 2. But you eventually you're going to find out it's the same question as before. But what is my goal when I'm doing this problem? What do I do if I have square root 4 minus x, subtract x equal to negative 2? What do I do?
Plus x plus x.
I can plus x on both sides. I can isolate a radical, right? So then if I isolate a radical, I'm going to go to here. 4 minus x equal to x plus 2. Now what do I do next step?
You square both sides.
Yeah, why is it plus 2?
Oh, minus 2, sorry. You're going to square both sides? Okay, so you're going to do that. Why do I square both sides?
Because you want to get rid of the square root.
Right. So now if I square, what do I have left? Be careful. You're going to do it and don't tell me what's the answer. Well, I will tell you just don't kill any puppy. Chinese people eat dogs. We don't eat puppies, but we eat dogs.
Yes.
Wait, am I allowed to say that on internet? I don't eat dogs. I'm vegetarian. I'm just listening. In fact, Chinese people do eat dogs.
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a festival.
Seriously, it's a festival. That's why.
Wait, like it's not something racist. It's like actually like.
It's an actual.
Have you ever tried though?
Oh, so we're not being
I'm
racist.
vegetarian.
Have you always
Really?
been
To be
vegetarian?
honest, if I was in
No
China,
chicken
I
at
would
all.
try it.
Why do we question this now?
But you know they have a host Olympic in Beijing, and so Beijing is the capital of people eating dogs, and so they actually had to ban dog meat in when they hosted the Beijing Olympic. So they had to stop like eating dog meat at a period of time because they didn't want to scare the foreigner over there.
How do
So-
they get the dogs?
Breed them.
Well, they breed
Kill
them.
them just like you breed a cow.
And you get
and a
pigs.
cow.
Them
No,
down.
because I want to know if it was like.
Okay, so what do you get next step? Good. So some people did not kill a puppy, and then let me know who killed a puppy. The people who kill a puppy is going to be x squared minus 4 or x squared plus 4.
I kill puppies.
Oh, I kill
You
puppies.
did?
I kill puppies.
Okay, do not kill a puppy. So here's x minus 2, right? So x minus 2 squared, that's going to give you what? X squared plus 2x, or minus 2x, sorry. Minus 2x plus 4. So that's equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. So make sure you write it out again, so that way you don't make a mistake on the test.
I kill puppies.
On some G shit.
Sorry, puppy.
Okay, so please don't feel puppy. Then I will make sure as isolate equation, I'll make sure the leading coefficient, which is the x squared, is positive. So I'm gonna subtract 4 on both sides. Hi.
Just do it my instruction.
Minus 4 and then minus 4, so that's going to be negative x equal to x squared minus 4x. I'm just worried about the seesaw. That's not fire hazard, right?
Do you actually get on that?
No. No comment. Plus x.
I do have an issue though,
Which
like,
one?
if you just move all this up a little bit, it needs to be 44 inches right here.
Got it.
So,
I'll do that.
like next class or something.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
She looks like she hates her life.
Yeah.
She wants to be
Everyone period.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
So,
For a fact, she hates her
I
life.
thought she was gonna say something about the tablet. That's what I was
I did
wondering.
too.
The tablet. I know.
x squared minus 3x, right?
The iPad, you said?
I can factor out x minus 3. I totally lied, said I didn't get on seesaw.
Only for a thumbnail, but
What
like.
did she actually ask?
X equal to 0 and x minus 3 equal to 0, x equal to 3. So you're gonna get 2 solutions, but it turns out, did you get this?
Mm-hmm.
2 complex, what?
So x equal to 0, x equal to 3, but it turns out it's one of them is not an answer.
The
Oh my
0.
God.
It's the 0.
So you actually had to plug it back in. So we're gonna say assume x is equal to 0, and we're gonna plug in back the original equation, not this equation, because this equation always works. You plug in this equation. So I'm gonna plug in 0. So it'll be 4 minus 0, right? Minus 0 is equal to negative 2. So it's equal to square root of 4 is equal to negative 2. Then that's gonna be 2 equal to negative 2. So that means no solutions, right? On this part. That's not a solution, sorry, not a solution. But we're gonna call this one, it's called extraneous. So extraneous solution, that means they are not the solutions. They are extra. We're gonna plug in x equal to what? 3. So that's gonna be square root of 4 minus 3 minus
3. 3.
Plus 3.
minus
No, 3. Minus 3. Minus 3.
Oh no, it is, never mind.
is equal to negative 2, right? So that's gonna be 1 minus 3 equal to negative 2, and that's minus 2 equal to negative 2. So this one is a solution, this one's not, this is only this. Yes,
I don't understand how you get x squared minus 4x plus 4.
over there,
Oh.
I don't feel puppy. Don't kill puppy.
You know what's funny? You know on YouTube how they have these videos, and there's always a teacher that's teaching, and then like the class laughs randomly. Way bad class now.
Okay, so, I don't know if there's internet, it seems like, oh, there's internet, yay. Okay, so let's graph this, right? So we're gonna show you the graph in the background, so hopefully that will help you. So, and it's gonna be square root, so when we're gonna solve this problem, we're gonna take the square root. I'm gonna do the square root of,
Other one.
4 minus x, thank you. Square root of 4 minus x, and minus x, and then plus 2. See here, that was the only solution. There's the only one that connected there. At 0 is actually going to 4, so that wasn't connecting. Okay, so that was the only solution, x equal to 3. You verify on the calculator, and it's just as well as you do the problem. Okay, so any questions so far? Got it?
Mister, are we gonna need like graph paper for this class?
Yes. We're gonna start graphing soon. So any question about this part? So now, we're gonna get to this questions here. This question is a little bit more difficult, but do you need to practice that? A similar one as this one? As this one? You don't need to practice, right? You okay, right? I'm gonna use my phone to get a question because they are in here.
Learning Tatiana.
Oh no.
He's a
It's
teacher,
for
Tatiana.
education purpose, okay? Chill.
I guess I'll let it slide.
Okay, so you can try this question for this one, and so here's my question, says x equal to square root of 6x plus 18 minus 3, and I want you to try this problem, and I'll tell you the answer for this one too.
1.
The answer is, if you do the right, you should check your answer by the way, but I here happen to be both that answer, plus minus 3.
So x equals square root of 6x.
Aaron, you use your finger to count?
Mm-hmm. When I'm subtracting, yeah.
Really? Subtracting is finger. When you're adding, you don't.
Yeah, my head, that one.
It's weird.
Like when I'm subtracting, like if it's like, I don't know.
Okay. I have no problem with it. I usually play a game with, I usually have my son playing games,
Mm-hmm.
like adding and subtracting. And he used to do it with the fingers too. But now he's subtracting, he still had to use paper. You got it? Just don't kill a puppy. Do not kill a puppy. If you got it, raise your hand. Good. If you didn't get it and you need somebody to help you, I'm sending somebody to help you. Raise your hand.
Yeah, mister, not yet.
Not yet, sorry. Sorry, Jim.
Yes, minus 3.
You should check your answers though, make sure they are right, because sometimes one answer is wrong. Plus minus 3. Plus 3 and negative 3. If you need help, I'm sending somebody to help you. Raise your hand.
Give me a second, sir. What were you, right?
Now we're doing the x equals.
I got 2 other questions to go over.
Yeah, I need help.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Marion, can you help out Jeffrey?
Go ahead.
Is Jeffrey need help or?
I need help.
Jeffrey?
Okay, I don't want the whole, I want help with, yeah, you know how like, he does like.
Sarah, you need help?
I wanna know how.
The person in front of Sarah, I don't know what's her name.
Squares
Glasses.
like that. I don't
Need
know
help?
how we did that, so I can really look at my example and understand that.
Cat, you need
I
help?
got negative 3, I didn't get positive 3. I don't know how to get
I just
positive.
wanna know
I
how I
don't know
should
I
square
gotta
this.
do the b first, you gotta put the b on the other side first.
I thought,
Aaron, do you
You
need
gotta put it on
help?
the side first before it's done.
I thought it was like, oh, am I like wrong completely?
Brandon, you need help?
No.
David, David, can you help out Brandon?
No, oh, my.
Yeah, you.
You didn't hear
Can
what
you help
I
him out?
said. No, you didn't.
Oh, and that's how that.
Eliza,
Well,
you
yeah,
want me to
I-
help you?
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Alright, then.
That's what I thought we did. But he did that, but you skipped that.
Doesn't matter.
No, he did it. He did it up there.
Alright,
So
shut
can you
up.
say hi?
It's automatic.
Yeah, he kinda did.
Let it in.
Okay,
This one, this is point level.
so I'm not that.
No, yeah. That's when
Why
you
you
split
think
up to a dog.
Okay, you're too rushing.
Okay.
Hey, you're smart. So I'm up to you.
Not once did we use the box.
Why not?
Because it's two term.
Ooh.
It's not, it's
It's x squared minus 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a box there. Two terms are different than square. You can use a box still.
I know that.
You actually
Okay.
can use, if you have that,
You don't really.
x squared minus
I roll
9,
any other way.
the x and x, 3 and negative 3.
So,
That's gonna be 3x and negative 3x, that's gonna give you 0, so it'll be x plus 3x minus 3. You can
I,
do that too.
I can have zero,
But that's to take too long.
Yeah, no, this is.
but you can't do that.
I know.
Because you end up with -6. So I have -6.
Jeffrey, somebody's trying to help you.
I know, but she made me feel stupid.
Marion, why'd you do that?
She said I didn't feel puppy. She said I murdered puppy.
Is this
All
That's
of
the
them.
original equation, okay?
She made me feel stupid.
So you're gonna add 3 to this side.
There's only one answer.
Leave me alone.
Radical 6x plus 1.
Oh, you can
I multiply it.
Oh, just change it.
It's for you. Oh, I got
That
it.
only goes for,
That's why
when
it's
there
that.
is a fraction.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Got it? You got it?
No, I'll just lost because when he did the first example, he did FOIL, he didn't fully spread.
Because you just did it in his head.
This question is a little bit tougher. Now this question is one of the tougher question. I will not really like say so you have to know it. It's usually not tested, but I'm still gonna go over it because sometimes you got two radicals and you gotta divide and conquer. Not divide physically, but divide
I
is
got it.
separate them as much as you can, and you split up them first, and then you're gonna do that. So I will split up this, and this one is gonna be x plus 2 is equal to, I'm gonna subtract this over. So it'll be 3 subtract x minus 1. So that's, I call it divide and conquer, make sure they are on separate side, right?
Oh, so if there's two square roots, make sure on separate sides.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what we do in like Middle East. Like we find the rebels, and we make sure they don't like each other, and we make them don't like each other, and have them fight each other, so we don't fight with them. That's what happened. That's what America do, and that's what Afghanistan was. You know, it was we have issue. I
So
don't know
that's-
if I can talk about
That's
politics.
x plus 2? It wasn't.
So I will split them up, right?
I'm wrong.
I subtract this over. I divide and conquer. I make sure I put in two rebels and two seven sides. I take care of one and the other one. So what happened is I'm gonna square both sides. But when I square both sides, I cannot kill any puppy here because that's a very, very important. This part gets very difficult. And then you say, I square this, it's gonna be give you x, if I square root of square, what will happen? Right? That's equal to this part is squared, so you have to think about this as a 3 minus square root of x minus 1 times 3 minus square root of x minus 1. And this times this is equal to 9. This times this is equal to minus 3 square root of x minus 1. And this times that is going to be minus 3 square root of x minus 1. And then what's square root of x minus 1 times square root of x minus 1? It's just x minus 1 because radical is going to go away. So that's going to give you plus x minus 1. So you look like this is a massive equation, but it's not. It's going to clean up very well in a second. You seem like you didn't really get rid of, you got rid of one radical right now, and this side still has a radical. then you say, hey, gotta be a doing better job than that. We can actually make sure those two radicals join together and then get rid of them. So it'll be x plus 2 is equal to 9 minus 6 square root x minus 1 plus x minus 1. And then I combine like term. I make an equation equal to 0. I'm gonna subtract x here because I can get rid of this, right? I'm gonna subtract x here, right? Am I okay?
Yeah.
And now am I gonna get rid of 2? Subtract 2, right? So I'm gonna get 9 minus 6 square root x minus 1. This one gonna cancel each other, this one's cancel out, minus 3. Equal to 0. Now we gotta went from 2 radicals to 1 radical. And then you say, okay, then we just have to isolate them again and get rid of them.
What?
So 9 minus 3 is what? 6 minus 6 square root x minus 1. I'll move this, the whole thing, to the right side. Okay? So then I will have 6 square root x minus 1 is equal to 6.
Wouldn't it be negative 6?
No, this one is a negative 6. So if we move to here, it becomes positive.
Oh, right.
Then I'm gonna get rid of 6 because this 6 is a coefficient, right? So that's square root x minus 1 is equal to 1. And I'm gonna square again, both sides. I'm gonna x minus 1 is equal to 1, x is equal to 2.
How do you get x equal to
So it is here.
See, most of you guys has never experienced the partial. You never experienced what a true math class is supposed to be. A true math class is supposed to go into this extent in Algebra 2. And we're not even covering pre-calc yet, but this is a true extent of what it's supposed to be. Now, am I gonna really test this question on a test? Yeah, but probably only like 4 people will get through. But I will still have to introduce you to get you to at least halfway to my level.
To your.
I don't, yeah. And this is just only the beginning. You guys gonna look at this next year, you're gonna be like, oh, I can't believe I messed this one up. This is so easy. Because your brain is growing to that level.
Yeah.
Your brain is gonna adapt to that level. Sorry, Mary, what are you gonna say?
So you putting this on the test?
Would I put this on the test? I might for extra credit or whatever, but you know, it's hard to people like logic it out, doing everything step by step and not making any mistakes. So, but this part, yes, I'll put on a test. That part is more like extensive. Yes.
So you distributed the 3 and square root x minus 1 and the 3 square root.
Yeah, I distribute, which is I do the first inner out of the last. And then I expand that to 3, 4 terms, and then I go through that. Andrew, yes.
I actually had a question about the problem. When you do, like how 3 minus, square root of x minus 1 squared, when you multiply square root of x minus 1 by square root of x minus 1, like how does that work?
Okay, good question, right? Square root of 3 times square root of 3, what will happen? Is equal to 3 squared, right?
Yeah.
And this 2 and 2, this is the power over roots, so it's equal to 3 to the 1. Well, square root of 3 times square root is 9, and square root of 9 is equal to 3. So pretty much 2 radical, like in this part, square root, they will cancel out. If it's 1/3 root, they don't cancel out. So only work with square root. A lot of square root and square, they cancel out. But the cube root has times 3 times in order to cancel out. Question about this part. Now, I won't test this part, but I'll give you a homework question about it. So I don't want to give you an example question here, because I want you to go home to actually try it. If you don't understand, watch the video. But yeah, I'll put it on extra credit. I won't put it on the actual test, because it's too difficult for a student to even come up with a solution without making a mistake. Because so many mistakes can happen. But you guys can definitely try it. It's not that bad. The problem is your brain. Your brain keep on thinking about, oh, this looks like a lot of work. And your brain starts thinking about it. So we're going to talk about next level questions. What if I have these questions here? To the, which kind of fraction you like?
None.
1 over 2. I don't like 1 over 2. Give me something more.
2 over 4.
Complex fraction.
3 over 4. Okay, that's good. 3 over 4. Okay, 3 over 4. That's perfect. Okay, that's minus 1 is equal to 7.
I don't like it.
Okay? And you automatically say you don't like it, but this one's actually not that bad. If you look at it, you say, okay, let's do this.
Oh.
You say, see, your brain start thinking about it's hard, then it's automatic, it's hard already before it starts. If you think, your brain start, let's take one step at a time. What's my first step I have to take?
Add one each side.
There you go, Jeffrey, you're doing great. You are smart.
Not to marry.
Well, what add plus 1? Plus 1 here, that's gonna give you 8, right?
Hopefully.
So now, we're gonna use the power rule. Remember the power rule that we keep on writing down? A to the m to the n power is equal to what?
8 to the
Plus
1.
N times n. You think about it, 2 to the 2 power times 3, it's gonna be 2 to the 2 to the 2 to the 2.
2 to 5, 6.
So it'll be 6, it's 2 times 3 is 6, right? So not 6, it's gonna be n plus n, n times n. So then you say, hey, I can use this. And just like the seesaw, right? This is a seesaw. If I'm doing something to the both sides, I'm okay. So this is the equation. That's the nice thing about equation. If I'm doing something to the both sides, I can make them balance. So you say, okay, well, let's do that. But what do I do to get rid of 3 over 4? And use this idea, a to the n power, n times n.
So it'd be 1.
How do I get rid of 3 over 4? What number I multiply with 3 over 4 is going to become 1?
1 over 4.
No.
Not 1.
What is it?
1.
No. Huh? No. No. No.
You multiply by trying to get a common factor?
Who says 4 over 3? Good job, Sarah.
Yeah.
4 over 3 times what number is equal to what? 1. Well, technically it's reciprocal power. So you're going to do this. You're going to say, hey, I have 2x minus 1 to the 3 over 4. And I'm going to have an 8 here. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply. We're going to do to the power, not multiply. So we're going to do here. I'm going to put a bracket here. And then we're going to put another power here, which is what? The reciprocal power, which is 4 over 3. It will be 3 over 4. So it will be 3 over 4 power to the both sides.
What do you mean 4 over 3?
4 over 3, sorry. 4 over 3. Thank you. Yes.
So you couldn't multiply it in?
You can multiply. You're not multiplying. You raise the power to both sides. So this power, 3 over 4, 4 over 3, because the exponential rule, they're going to get rid of each other. So that's going to give you what? 2x minus 1 to the equal to the 8 to the 4 over 3 power. Why do I keep on coming back to this fraction power? And I always ask you to simplify it. Why? Do you realize all my lessons connect to it? Connect to the first day, first week. Fractions, exponents, everything. Then you're gonna say, okay, well, 2x minus 1. And then this one is power over root. So a to the m over n power is equal to n to the a to the m. So I'm gonna convert this to this. So that's gonna be the third roots of 8 to the 4th power. What is the third root of 8? Or do I do 8 to the 4th power or third root of 8 first?
Third root of 8.
Always third root of 8. You grow trees, you grow roots first. before you grow the leaves, get the power. So that's gonna be 2 to the 4 is 16. Thank you, Jeffrey. 2x minus 1 is equal to 16. 2x equal to 17. X is equal to 17 over 2. Done. Practice question. I can give you a negative. So let's say 2x minus 1. What you going to do? Like a 5 over 3 maybe? Minus 1 equal to 31. So I want you to solve this equation. If you are more advanced, you can change this to negative sign.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're
I'm good, love and joy.
Love and joy. If you're more advanced student, you can challenge yourself to 2x minus 1 to the negative 5 over 3.
Sir, I'm already challenging myself in this class, so I'm gonna just ease up.
Which one? Where?
I'll do that.
2x minus 1 minus 1 equals 3.
Minister, we have a minute to do this question.
You can do it.
You believe in us?
I believe it.
Yes, sir. How can you believe in us if you don't believe in ourselves?
You can do it.
Well, I couldn't.
Not even a minute, 30 seconds.
Okay, plus 1, 32, right? So that's equal to plus 1, so that's equal to 32. And then to the 2x minus 1 to the 5 over 3 power. So you're gonna flip, so it'll be 2x minus 1 to the 5 over 3 to the 3 over 5 power of 32 to the 3 over 5 power. That's equal to 8 on that side, so it'll be 2x minus 1 is equal to 8. 2x equal to 9, x equal to 9 over 2. Done. I don't think it take me 30 seconds, right?
Why are you making it so hard?
We're on 28.
Wait, what's the cube root of 32?
You don't do cube root of 32, you do fifth root of 32. So this one is equal to what? The fifth root of 32 to the third power. I'm hungry. I use too much energy. I use too much energy.
So the denominator is the one that you use?